Welcome back to the Cutty and Govy show down here, Boca Raton, Delray Beach, Palm Beach, Florida. The weather has been spectacular. Govy just got back. He was up north for a week. Congratulations. He had a little granddaughter.
Grandson.
Grandson. What's the name, Govy?
Jordan Ryan. JR.
I'm glad he
Call him
got it
Little
right. JR, that's cool. I like JR.
JR.
So Gavi was up north. I did know his grandson, and he had a great time, but he complained every day about the weather.
Horrible.
It was horrible, but
Still
some days were not so bad. You said they were 60.
A couple, but it's miserable.
Anyway, back down here, and he had a great time traveling. His plane ride home was only 12 hours. He didn't have the Cutty and Govy private jet, you know.
Yeah.
He had to slum it on commercial. What airlines you fly on? Give him a shout out.
A little American Airlines. We ended up in Orlando. All the airports were closed.
Can you imagine? The guy flies from Philly down here to Palm Beach, and they can't land in Palm Beach, so they have to land in friggin' Orlando. That's a 3.5-hour drive. Then they have to either drive, rent a car, or wait for the plane to take them down to Palm Beach.
No, what actually happened, which is really pretty funny, is all the airports were closed down here. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach. So the pilot said he's running out of fuel. We were circling. We end up in Orlando. They open up the door and they asked anybody who wants to get off can get off. But you can't come back on. And your bags will be in the Palm Beach airport. So 10 or 12 people got off.
What do they rent a car and drive?
Oh, there's the Bright Line. They can rent a
Okay,
car.
Bright Line, that's right.
As soon as they shut the door, 8 minutes later, the pilot says, the airports are open, we're free to go. Could you imagine if you got off the plane and in 8 minutes, like we were up going? I mean, that's pretty that's pretty unlucky if you got off. I mean,
it's horrible. Anyway, Gavi had a great time. By the way, I am drinking one of our new sponsors, La Colombe Coffee. Just the Mail, one of our sponsors, is converting part of the store, the mail store, postal center store, packaging store, mailbox store, and all the FedEx, UPS, USPS. We're making a La Colombe national chain coffee shop there. It's going to be the nicest one in Boca Raton.
It's great coffee.
This is unbelievable. We're going to have cans to go. We're going to have cold brew. We're going to have all the fancy drinks. We have some extra space, and we're going to use it. We made a deal with La Colombe, and they're on board, and it'll be done in about 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to be out there this weekend with our hard hats and our drills, and Gavi and I are going to do it. Anyway, Gavi, let's talk New York Knicks, NBA. That game last night was not fun.
No, but we knew they were going to lose that game. I just want you to know, we've been on the Knicks. This show, I have been on the Knicks now all year. And by the way, these tickets in New York right now are going like crazy numbers. It's like $2,000 just to get into the building.
How much is the wood to be on the floor? 20 grand?
More. I think
more.
I think if you're in the fifth row, it's like 15,000.
That is sick.
It's the most expensive ticket in New York Knicks history. This Game 6 against the Boston Celtics. If they can win this game,
there's that weirdo guy. I was eating some of Cole's trail mix. It's trailing down my throat. The weirdo producer. What's his name? Not P. Not the guy with the round glasses.
Spike Lee.
Yeah, Spike Lee. Is he there?
Lee's, they're all there.
Oh,
Ben Stiller,
man.
Spike Lee,
Yeah,
Tracy
I can't
Morgan.
stand that. Yeah.
I mean,
Tracy Morgan.
They had a whole thing
yeah.
on who gets to even come down to
right.
Down to that area. But if the Knicks could pull this off, this will be the first time they're in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. And if they can, and they have home court advantage, they get past Indiana. If they can, they're in the NBA Finals for the first time in like 35 years.
So, Gavi, in your opinion, a lot of the women like to go to the games, to like go to for an activity. But the fact that it's in New York, you have all the celebrities. Is it cooler for, they're not really that much into basketball. Is it cool for them to sit there and people watch and see?
Well, it's you have a decision to make. If she really doesn't want to be there, do you feel like spending to get really close that she could be with all these people? Do you feel like spending $10,000 for someone that doesn't want to be there?
Well, it's like Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez there and all those kind of people.
Well, it does. That's the whole thing. It doesn't mean anything to them. The
right.
money, $10,000 to Jeff Bezos, like literally saying, "Here's a nickel."
Right.
But to a lot of people, if you went up to a lot of people, say, "Would you like a Louis Vuitton handbag, or do you want to come to the game?" They might choose the handbag.
Right. Yeah, that's permanent. The game's 2
and you
hours.
can see the game on TV.
Right. Govy thinks the Knicks are gonna go all the way. He's got all his money riding on it. You know,
Yeah,
he's got a lot of extra now that the stock market came back. He
yeah.
was he was feeling some
Wait,
pain. He's back.
hey, wait. We said that if the people listen to the show, we also said buy Tesla. It was at
230,
235,
235.
235. What's it now? 350,
Yeah,
350.
it's down 8 points today.
Okay, but it's
Yeah,
it's right there.
340.
Yeah.
But we also did say, Jim Cramer, CNBC, you're a loser. You staked your career on Donald Trump ruining the economy with the tariffs. Did he not say that? You know, he has that goofy show where he rings the
Mad money,
bell, man,
mad
and
money.
the button, and he's going nuts and he's going crazy. And he's like, Donald Trump, we're going into a depression. He staked his career. The market is above where it was when the tariffs went on.
Right on. It's unbelievable how many people constantly bet against this guy, and he keeps showing up. I mean, everybody thought he was going to jail. Everybody thought one of these things were happening. I mean, this guy said that this was going to be horrendous, and like the people that are just saying, let Donald Trump do his job, let him. Don't just say. By the way, you got 1 week to turn around everything Joe Biden did in this time. I mean, that's not fair. I mean, it's only 125 days.
Do you think he has a strategy, though? Do you think when he started with these tariffs and said, I'm going to start at 40%, but I'm really going to settle at 10, do you think he had that strategy, or
Yes.
he just throws it out there and he wants chaos, he
If
wants
you
to
read his books and if you listen to him, his strategy is shock syndrome. The first thing he does is he says something outlandish that everybody listens to every word he says. So when he says, I'll just go up to China and make it 145%. In his mind is right now we have nothing basically. Right now he says, you know what? If I can end up at 30%, I'm a winner. I mean, you have to start at a number that you can come down. You can't give a number and then you have no flexibility.
Well, do you
It's
think
part of
this?
negotiating.
All right, so he's screaming and hollering now. Boeing is 8 years behind on 40-year-old. I believe Air Force One is 40 years old.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. I know, Donald Trump, he has to be the biggest, the best, and all this, and he lands in Kuwait or he lands in
Well,
Abu
they have
Dhabi,
palaces. They have
and
everything.
they have palaces, and he's in a 40-year-old plane. It must be driving the guy out of his friggin' mind. But do you believe this Qatar? I don't even know how to say it. How do you,
Cutter.
Qatar? This Qatar jet that they're giving him for 40 million. Do you really think it's a real deal, or he's just throwing it out there to screw everybody's
Yeah,
mind
he
up?
just wants to give him something to like deflect him. I mean, listen, he likes to have the biggest and the best of everything.
Right.
And he goes over to the Middle East and he goes to Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, and all of a sudden he feels like we're like he's driving like he's the poor guy.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's one thing when Elon Musk's son X picks his nose and puts a boogie on his desk. He can live with a little boogie. He can like, and by the way, he swapped that desk out. That boogie bothered him so much.
Did he?
Yeah, he swapped the desk out to get it repaired. Like he needed to make sure there was no boogie
That's
on there.
funny.
So here's a guy. Here's a guy that he wants an airplane. And by the way, he commissioned for it. The last time he was president, he thought when he commissioned it, it would be ready not for him, whoever the president is now.
Yeah.
Now they're talking the next time. So whoever is the next
But
president,
do you
will have it.
think he's just jacking Boeing up and basically saying to Boeing, you stink. I'm just going to go to Qatar or Qatar or whatever it's called and get them to give me a plane.
No, because I think he went up to Boeing and he said, I just brought you the largest contract you ever had. I mean, what was it? Some crazy.
Yeah, 200 billion or something
No, it
nuts.
was more than that. I
Yeah.
think it was more than that. So now he could go up to Boeing and say, I can make the deal happen and I can make it disappear.
But let me ask you this question, Gavi. Let's say Qatar, the Houthis, the Hamas, and all these bad guys over there. Israel blew up all these people with beepers. You really going to take a plane from them and take a chance that I don't care
No, they're
if they
not.
sweep the whole plane
not
and they
doing it.
tear it apart. Don't you think there's some way that plane can be
Yes,
sabotaged?
and that's why it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
But he just wants to bring awareness that our plane, because now the country knows that he is flying in a 40-year-old or 35-year-old jet that is inadequate. You're also learning that the FAA, where you're looking at Newark Airport, Denver had a problem today. All these computers are, I mean, how many people get a new laptop every 5 years?
Right.
We have air traffic control computers that are 40 years old. I mean, do you
Crazy.
feel comfortable looking at computers that are that old?
No, it's nuts. And I'll tell you, I think the whole idea of, Boeing being so screwed up with the space shuttle and everything that went on and the delay in Air Force One. I mean, geez, the number one customer is the United States defense. You would think they would take care of the guy, but Elon Musk for $250 million became this guy's best friend. And he's in Qatar. He's in Abu Dhabi. He's in the White House. He's in Doge.
They showed you the Tesla trucks in red
Yeah,
coming down.
that was cool.
I mean, that was a little homage to
Right.
him. I mean, you got
But
to.
let me ask you this. So before you go on, let me ask you this question. Why doesn't Elon Musk, he can run the Boring Company, a tunnel company, and Tesla and SpaceX and Masterlink or whatever it's called. What's that one called? The Interlink or
Starlink.
Starlink. Why can't he make fighter jets? I mean, go out and start a plane company, Elon. I want to come to work for you. I'll work for you on the plane company. Let's go.
Because I think someone should come into it. It takes years. You would have to go
So
up
he goes
against.
and buys Gulfstream.
He would have to go up against Lockheed Martin.
So he goes and buys one of them. He could go buy Gulfstream.
I think the biggest
General
problem.
Dynamics for $15 billion.
I think the biggest problem that's going to come out of this is for the last 4 years, Boeing, in their defense, was listening to a White House that DEI hires were more important than getting the product out there. They cared who was in, in personnel, who was hiring, who was. I mean, Trump doesn't care. He just wants the best person to be hired. He's not into DEI. He's getting rid of DEI. I think DEI set the country back years. And it's interesting. How many journalists right now are coming out that are saying, I'm blaming the White House on Joe Biden. They hid him from me. We had no idea he had dementia. I mean,
But who cares?
Why are they making money? Yeah, well,
how can we fix it? It's done. It's over. So who cares?
So you're basically saying, just like them, we are looking forward. We're not looking backwards.
I agree. So I mean, who cares about Joe Biden? Who cares? We survived. Who cared who ran the country?
Oh, well, wait a second. Who cares?
It doesn't matter. What's the matter?
It does.
You know what Jake Tapper did? He went bank, baby. He went for the dough. He went along for the ride at CNN. Now he's trashing the guy.
It's a joke that a guy could turn around and go up to Laura Trump, go up to everybody, defend Donald Trump. And now he writes a book and saying, man, where was it? Anybody who watched Fox News knew from the beginning. By the way, Fox News' ratings are off the chart. MSNBC and CNN are in the toilet because you know what? They lost those viewers.
But who cares? Why does anybody care? What's the difference? Are you going to buy the book? Or are you going to read the book?
Why do I need to read about? Why do I need to read about something I already knew?
But it's the country survived. It's in the past. There's nothing going to change. The history is history.
You know who made a mistake?
Who?
Believe it or not, China and Xi, because it was the opportunity for them to go into Taiwan and take it over because they had a guy that had dementia running our country.
I disagree.
And they would have gotten away with it.
There's no way. You have Congress, you have a lot of Democrats, you have a lot of Republicans. There's no way. If America's so dependent on Taiwan, I think if China,
we couldn't worry about defending Ukraine, Israel, them.
It would have been a problem for America.
We don't have the money.
I think they evaluated. I just don't think they thought they could get away with it. I don't know.
I think China dropped the ball there. They were spying on us for
yeah.
I mean, they were spying us with the weather balloon, so they were ready to make a move. I think if Biden would have won, they definitely were going to do it on the next.
Yeah, maybe they would have done it next time.
I mean, so maybe that's some of the break. But I just think that you look at some of these guys, and it's like anybody who watched Fox kind of knew what was going on. But so
let me ask you, would you go buy the book and spend, how many countless hours reading a book when you can just get the Cliff Notes and find out the 6 dirty secrets?
Fox viewers don't need to read the book. We already knew what it was. So it's these idiots. By the way, Morning Joe sat there and said, I just saw him. It was the greatest performance ever. I mean, this guy is sharp as. I mean, you got to go up to Morning Joe and say, you know what?
But you have to put salacious details in a book for an order to sell. Last week, you brought up a podcaster, very famous guy in this town, Skinny Joey Merlino, and I just watched a podcast with him. I urge you guys to go watch it with Howard Eskin. It was great. And Howard Askin was in his face, and he's like, about you being an alleged mobster. And Joey said to him, of course, that's what they talk about. If I was a bartender, they wouldn't watch
Or a plumber.
or a plumber, they wouldn't watch the show. It's
I
pretty funny. It
I
actually was very
I
good. But that's the same with this book. What's the difference? Unless they have dirt to put in this book about Joe Biden, that he could have been in a wheelchair, or that he was going to, he pees
well
in his pants, or he wears a
where they
diaper.
made a mistake is, if you wanted to get people to read this book, because half the country already knows what was going on. Tell us whose cocaine was in the White House. Find out something, so then when people could say, okay, it was Hunter Biden's.
Okay, if you knew that fact, how's that change your life? What's the difference?
Well, let's put it this
What's
way.
the difference?
Well, let's put it this way. He's the only president that actually pardoned his entire family.
It's over. What's the difference? They can't get indicted for stealing money if they stole money. If it was his cocaine, who cares? I mean, nothing can happen now. I
It's
mean, I don't know. I think America.
So how do you think Donald Trump's doing in the Middle East,
Well,
though?
I was going to say, I think when you watch the news and you see how terrific, the Middle East has evolved from, what used to be, these people that were murdering and killing each other. I used to sit there and say, look at America. You can drive a nice car. You can go to a nice school. You can walk into a nice shopping center. I said, when are these rich people in the Middle East? And they're so rich. You see these palaces. When are they going to realize how great life can be with air conditioning and marble and families and kids? Now they're starting to get it, because the younger generation of these Arabs, I guess, are taking over. They've been
Well,
educated in America, and they see how great it is. They're building these cities that
think
are
about
unreal.
this. Think about this. Qatar, with 2 million people, gave more money to lobbyists and to the United States, more billions to the United States than China gave, and they have 1 billion people. So these countries are
But what
doing
did they get out of it? Military equipment,
well. What are they getting out of it? How about that? They got students
right?
demonstrating at all these Ivy League schools for the Hamas that are bidding. They're like, look at the disruptions that they're causing the Americans. But you know, you know, the one thing they don't want the Palestinians coming into their country right now. So otherwise, you don't see them opening up their arms to, like, come on in, Palestinians. Right now, you have to rebuild your country. No,
But Trump's a piece of work. This guy that runs Saudi Arabia, what's his name? 39-year-old king, crown
yeah,
prince, whatever, whatever. In the Saudi culture, you're not supposed to touch the guy. And Trump is slapping him on the back, grabbing his arm, shaking his hand. In culture, you're really not supposed to touch him.
Listen, 4 years
Trump
ago,
doesn't care.
well, let's put it this way. When Joe Biden met the guy, everybody wanted to know, are you going to shake his hand? Because you did call him a murderer. So they fist bumped. And everybody thought, okay, Joe, you came up and you fist bumped the guy. Meanwhile, the guy hated your guts. And there was and the whole Middle East was on fire. You had October 7th. Donald Trump comes there. They have a McDonald's truck following the
Well, of
guy. So
course.
just in case he wants a Big Mac at
Yeah,
any
but
time.
McDonald's is going to do that for free.
No, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying they made it so it was so nice for the guy.
But what's with the outfits? Oh, everybody wears that white robe. I mean, doesn't it? You look different than I look. This guy looks different from this girl.
Listen, we're not here to just.
What's the white
It's a
outfit? What's it
garb.
mean?
What is
Aren't they sweating to death in the desert in that white robe that with the head thing?
Are the Hasidic Jews sweating to death in New York in a stinking elevator at
Okay.
94 degrees when
So,
they get into the elevator?
So
Yeah.
you saw Air Force One landing with those fighter jets on either side of Air Force One, giving them this big fancy
I
arrival.
would have felt safer with the American jets next to me.
But I
than,
want to know, did the Saudi guys flying those jets, were they wearing those white outfits, or were they in,
no,
airfare?
They were in military. Yeah.
Were they?
They were in military.
I think
gear.
they were in the white outfits. And
But-
you see, they wear sandals. They don't wear shoes.
Right. But let's put it this way. Donald Trump's in the Middle East. He's making peace with everybody. Abraham Accords. He's going to try to do something no one else has ever done. Right now, you got Democrats right now literally fighting to get gang members out of jail. I mean, what are they standing for? The Democrats have no leader.
Well, they're just trying to be relevant. I guess they're
They're
just
on the
trying.
wrong side.
I understand, but it's like Donald Trump shock therapy. I mean, they need to be in front of their constituents. AOC needs to be in front of people. They need to act crazy. They need to be far to the left. And I guess that's a position of freedom. Everybody, I don't even know what it means. I can't even defend it. It just, you have to call that girl on the five. What's her name that I hate? The liberal girl.
Jessica Tarlow, I
Yeah.
like her.
Oh my
I like
God.
them all.
Jesus
And by the
Christ.
way, if
She could
you
see somebody lighting a fire
you
and
know why it's
defend the
important
guy.
to watch like Fox News? One reason why every single person in the cabinet comes from it. You got Dan Bongino, you got Judge Janine, you
She's
got
going
Pete
to
Hegseth, you got Campo. I
There's
mean,
jobs for us, Gavi.
there's everything. But I'll tell you who's not watching the five, and that's P. Diddy right now.
P. Diddy.
It's I gotta tell you, if this was only in Los Angeles where
He's getting off.
if cameras could come into this thing,
Right.
this is
But he's
unbelievable.
getting off. He's not going to. He's at the end of this trial. He's walking out of that
No,
courtroom
he's
back
not.
to. Yes, he
He's
is.
I'll tell you what, there's so many people. I mean, I gotta tell you something. When you listen to
What
some of
did he
her
do? Okay, let's have an argument. Let's have a real good
he
debate about
abused
number
her.
one. He has the best criminal lawyers in the
He
world.
does.
Okay. Number two, she kept staying for more. What? It's indefensible what he did to her, but I don't know that unless she goes and reports him to the police that it's a crime.
She was mentally abused. He gave her $25 million after too
Before
late.
that, I'm the defense attorney. Is this your $250,000 Mercedes? Yeah. Are these your 200 Birkin bags? Yeah. Is this your Black American Express card that says P. Diddy? Yeah. Is this the house you bought for your parents? Yeah. Are these the 167 guys you had sex with prior to meeting P. Diddy? We're going to bring them all in and we're going to tell everybody the crazy shit you used to. I mean, they're going to tear this woman to shreds. And he's going to get off.
Not really. Let me ask
He
you.
should go and
Let
he's
me
going
tell
to
you
get
something.
time served.
He
He's going to
bought
get time served.
he bought a little blow up swimming pool thing that he filled with the baby oil. He kept making her submerge herself into the baby
But is
oil.
that illegal?
Wait a second. He had these freak offs that lasted 4 days.
Is that illegal?
4 days. I mean, that's a lot of hours of watching. By the
You're
way,
a prostitute.
watching people,
Okay.
watching people having sex with his girlfriend. I
Right.
mean, the guy's sick. And by the way,
Peeing in her mouth
by
and
the
all that
way,
stuff.
and by the way, there are enough people that you don't know who are going to roll over and talk. Like, for instance, if I had
But what is the crime? He peed in her mouth.
he
Do you go to jail for that?
abused mentally abused.
I
If you're
don't
in a
think
physical,
that you have a great lawyer. You're beating
why,
that.
why are there a lot of domestic abusers that they can't talk? They can't break free. By the way, we all saw that she tried to run away from him in the hotel room. You know what he did? He dragged her back into the hotel
What's the
room.
jury look like?
I don't know. All I know is that the
Yeah.
jury got to watch her try to escape that room. He ran after her in his towel.
Okay, so
He
that's a
beat-
year in jail. That's a year. Do you
No,
know how many
that's-
women are beat and the guy never serves time in jail?
You don't
I
get
mean,
to see it on camera. You got to see this on camera. You don't get to go up to
Why
Ash-
did the security guard have him arrested right on the spot from the hotel? You saw the security guy
That's
right
a
up
good
there.
player. He was a powerful guy. Let me tell you something. Ashton Kutcher, all I know about Ashton Kutcher right now is that he went and he stood up for his friend from the 70s show who's now serving life in jail for being a rapist. Now they're going to go up to Ashton and say, Ashton, the FBI is going to say, here you are again. You were at these freak offs, I don't know, 10, 20 times. You were one of his best buddies. Tell me, what took place there? Maybe Ashton Kutcher talks. By the way, Justin Bieber right now is having this mental break. Like everybody's concerned about Justin Bieber. How do you know Justin Bieber wasn't a victim? How do you know he didn't make?
I understand, but what he did is horrific. It's so beyond
But what
horrible.
happens
It's
if that's part of
distasteful.
this case? What happens if Justin Bieber said he was raped?
This girl's saying she's raped. She's in a consensual relationship for how
Justin
many?
Bieber was 14 years old.
Okay, well, that's a problem for him. Well, I mean, if
Well,
they
it
can
was
prove
14.
that's a problem.
And there's a record of him on all these
I
shows.
understand.
Ellen.
So
He went up to Justin and said, what goes on in my house stays like in our
But I
house.
mean, that's a going in 60 seconds moment. Justin Bieber knows if he comes to court and testifies, his career is ruined.
Is Shannon Sharp's career over?
It's over. Going in 60 seconds, left foot, right foot. But the book back there behind Gavi's shoulder.
Shannon Sharp is gone.
He's done. And Justin Bieber can't come to court and testify to any of this. His career will be over.
Right now, he's like having some
Yeah.
breakdowns.
I'm having a breakdown on this one too, Gavi. I just think at the end of the day, it's like O.J. Simpson. He has this dream team of lawyers. They're brilliant. This woman took all the money like a Las Vegas hooker. Yes, she was beat. Yes, there's film. Yes, it's horrific of what the guy did to her. Should he be in jail? Yeah. Is he going to go to jail? He's been in MDC Brooklyn, a horrifying jail now for 8-10 months. But is he going to get the rest of his life in jail? I don't think so.
I think it is. I think the trial's just beginning. I think he's like his career. Uh,
Unless they can prove crimes.
well, it just started. I think we're going to hear
All
things
right,
that
so answer me this question. You're married. You're dating your wife for 5 or 7 years, and then you decide to get married, and then next week she says you raped her. I understand no is no. No is no. She doesn't want to have sex. But aren't there a lot of different couples, and I've been in relationships and you've been in relationships where one night you don't want to have sex, but your wife does, or vice
Cuddy,
versa.
Cuddy,
How
Cuddy,
can you say,
Cuddy. He had parties with hundreds of people that he had them weekly where people attended this. They witnessed it. You don't think these people might come forward? You don't know if the FBI came? This wasn't like he was with his girlfriend or
yeah, but
wife. He did
where
this out in the open.
I understand, but where I'm having the hard time about it is I'm sure he gave her a watch that's worth 200,000, earrings, diamonds, this and that. Why? And she probably has a bunch of money from him. Why couldn't she hock the stuff, get a pile of cash, go to the FBI, get in the witness protection program or whatever you
By the
call it,
way,
and be
do
done
you know do you
and
know
get out?
do you know sex trafficking? Just so you know, sex trafficking. If you called up somebody and you said, "Come to New York. I'm gonna buy you a
I
Birkin
understand
bag.
it's
I'm gonna buy
crossing,
you a Birkin
right?
bag." If she flew across the country and had sex with you with her not doing and then claims that you paid her in a Birkin bag, that is sex trafficking technically.
All right, let's make a bet.
So I say he's in trouble. Now I'll tell you, let's talk about someone whose
Wait, let's
career.
make a bet.
All
I'm
right.
saying we're going to make it. We're not going to go our usual 10,000. Because let's just go $1,000.
On the number of what years, how many years he
I'm
gets?
saying time served. I'm saying at the end of this trial, they let him out of jail.
I say more than 10 years.
All right, $1,000.
Okay,
All
more
right,
than
we
10
got a
years.
bet. It's on the record.
And now I'm going to tell you whose career is going to go up rather than everybody going down. I'll
Okay.
give you a person that's going to go up. Deion Sanders' son, Shador Sanders. Mark my words. He will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Week 1.
Week 1?
Week 1,
I'll take that
he
bet.
will be the starting
How's he going to
quarterback
be the
for the
starter?
Cleveland Browns, and the guy Gabriel that they drafted in the 3rd round will be the backup, and that's going to be it's not even close. That's how much he's going to do, and everybody's then going to turn around and say, "How did this happen?" And they're going to have to say maybe they didn't like the guy, but at the end of the day, his talent and what he's going to bring is going to be Cleveland backed into it. It's like it's
Yeah,
unbelievable
it's an
backed into
unbelievable
this,
story.
but he's going to end up helping that franchise to go. Now that's one. Now a guy that if you want to spin it around and stay into the NFL and football, Bill Belichick's life can't get any more like upside down. He's going to get fired by
Why is he going to get
University
fired?
because they can't take his girlfriend. North
So
Carolina can't.
if they say to Bill Belichick, you got to lose the girl, don't you think he's going to lose the girl?
I don't know. I think she. I think he.
You
I
see?
think Bill Belichick right now is mesmerized. He's like in a
Aren't they
cult.
practicing now? He's like in football
Yeah,
camp.
there's a
Yeah.
problem. They supposedly they banned her. She's not even allowed to show up at the practices. Do you
Who
know?
cares? I
You
was
know.
watching an interesting show. I guess they were talking. Who was talking? It was it was the Howard Eskin show, and they were talking Bill Belichick coaching record without Tom Brady. What would he look like?
Wasn't so great.
Yeah, no, I'm saying even at the beginning of his career, through his career, if he didn't have that moment with Tom Brady, would he have just been an average coach?
No, he still would have because he would have had someone. He's an unbelievable coach. But when saying that, seeing a 73-year-old man sitting in the front row, looking at your 23-year-old girlfriend, who came in 3rd place for Miss Maine. She wanted to be Miss USA. Seeing him there, and she's disappointed, by the way. She was disappointed that she came in 3rd. But just watching a 73-year-old,
You're disgusted by it?
well, he is older than her
If I went on
grandfather.
a double date with you and my date was 23 years old, would you be disgusted at me?
Well, you're younger than Bill
I
Belichick.
am,
I
but
mean,
by, 10 years, not 10 years, but, some years.
when you speak
Would
it,
your wife be disgusted if I had brought a 23-year-old to
let me
dinner?
ask you a question. If someone went up to a 23-year-old girl and said, "You are now dating somebody 4 years older than the Pope." Bill Belichick is 4 years older than the Pope. So when
Right.
someone told you the Pope in your eyes, did you always look at the Pope as being older?
Well, that whole Pope thing is, I'm not Catholic, two of my kids are. And, my youngest went to Catholic school, so I'm familiar with the religion, and it's a wonderful religion. But I'm just mesmerized by the fact that this guy was a regular guy at Villanova, and then he became a bishop and then a cardinal and whatever. And now he's like sitting next to God. I mean, he's the Pope. I mean, how does that like work? I mean, I don't understand. I can't wrap my
Well,
head around the whole process.
when I was in Philadelphia and they announced this, I went, I live in Villanova, so I went to the corner store.
Oh, the
It's
pizza
right down the
place.
road from me.
Yeah.
It's the pizza place.
University pizza.
Yeah, so I was there, and I had to say when I looked at this pizza place that that you pass by every day. I mean, it's kind of crazy that the Pope used to go there for pizza twice a week. I mean, like that's kind of crazy. He is a regular like.
Yeah, and now he's the Pope. It's like kind of
How
crazy.
did he
It's
do
a
it in 2 years?
Not only that, I
He must
mean,
be a likable guy to like. All those other Cardinals have been around for so long, and he just walked in there and said, "I'm here."
yeah, I mean, and then how about all the stuff with the kids and all the stuff that went on? I mean, they say the Pope's job, a lot of it is business oriented. It's just not
He's
religion.
69 years old. He
Yeah.
could be around. He's going to see the world in some crazy. I hope like he's a great Pope to like
So
bring
wait a
some peace.
second. You had the New York Knicks, you had Tesla stock, you had Nvidia, and you had the Pope dying.
I did.
You did. You were like a month off.
And I said, wait, and I also said Donald Trump was going to win every single
Every
case,
case you
and he
picked
was going to
that.
be
Gavi's
president of
now
the thing.
Kreskin. He's
I
Kreskin.
mean, I had it, and now I'm telling you that Shador Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback
I don't think he's
for
going
the
to
Cleveland
be.
Browns.
I don't think
Even
he's gonna.
Cleveland can't mess this up. So, let's see. We got to talk. I got to tell you, I love watching though ABC News. Every time they ask a question now, they
He
get
abuses them.
they're the fake news organ. I mean, they're
You're
on the wrong.
stupid. You're an idiot. I can't believe you would ask such a dumb question.
Yeah, I mean, but they are asking dumb questions and they're lying.
But if you were an ABC reporter or that girl on CNN, what's her name? That he's just abusing the living
Yeah,
hell out of him.
I kind of like her though because she keeps
She
getting
just,
abused.
yeah, he just, like, would you like go into your boss and say, look, I don't want to be humiliated. I just don't want to ask him a question. Or I need to ask him a real question. If I ask any question, he's going to
What
humiliate
I
me.
don't understand, what I really don't understand is if I was ABC, CBS, or NBC, when you go and you give the evening news and the guys in the Middle East and everybody, the world is saying he's doing a pretty good job. They come up with a story as he's trying to take this jet. He's going to accept the jet. Like you don't hear anything of what
I
he's
think he
doing.
wants that, though. He
I don't
wants
know
them
why they
talking about
won't
him.
just say anything good. Why won't Stephen Colbert say one? I mean, they protected the other guy. Just say something. I mean, watching ABC News get handed.
But what's intriguing, Elon Musk, richest man in the world, worth $400 billion. He's sitting there and his life's pretty good. I mean, he's got 400 billion, he's got bodyguards, he's got mansions, he drives around in a G750 or whatever the hell that plane is. But he is now standing next to the most powerful man on the planet every day of his life, and he sees the difference from having 400 billion and being the president of the United States. I mean, where fighter jets are flying alongside of you, where they land, and his car was transported from Washington, D.C. to Abu Dhabi, and there's camels on either side of him, and sheiks and princes are coming along and kissing his hand and his
But
and every giant businessman. I mean, Elon Musk, I'm sure, could meet all those people, but it wouldn't be like this.
no, I mean, this is unbelievable what
It's
you're saying.
unbelievable.
The side deals he's made, but that's something all these networks will come up with.
Right.
But you know
But
what
he will make side deals.
but I'll tell you something that's going to be interesting. There's a golf tournament coming up.
But wait, I want to stay on that 1 second. So he's on this whole fabulous trip over there and all these palaces, dealing with all these dudes and seeing all this stuff. Do you think Milani's happy she's not there or upset she didn't go?
That's a really good question.
And do you think Donald's happy she's not there or sad she's not there?
I think
I mean,
Do-
he's
I
with
think
his buddy Elon. That's who he's hanging with.
I think Donald's happy that she's not there because he's just plowing through. By the way, this is a growing trip.
Growing.
I mean, like
I couldn't do
I
it.
mean, let me tell you something. The guy has all this stuff on
I
his
couldn't
plate.
do it.
By the way, he has Putin and Zelensky. He has Bibi with the Hamas. He released a hostage, by the way. During all
Yeah.
this, there was a hostage being released. He has, the border he's worried about being, controlled. there's a lot going on.
So, like, do you think when he's on Air Force One, people just stand in line? Let's do this. I want to do that. Let me do this. Or he has downtime. He gets to go into the bedroom, lay down, take his Brioni suit off, take his shoes
I
off, and
think right now,
relax.
I'm glad he doesn't have a lot of downtime because if he did, you know what he would be thinking? He would be thinking that Air Force One is such a piece of crap
Oh
that it
man.
would it would bother him because he wants his jet because it truly is inferior and he doesn't like to have something inferior. So
Well, I have to be honest with you. Last night I watched the Sean Hannity show. Now, I've never been in a jet with a private office. I've been in a lot of jets, but I've never been in one in a private. It was kind of dumpy looking.
it
I mean,
was.
I was like, kind of like, whoa, this is the president of the United States. He's running a $6 trillion a year company, and his plane isn't even as nice as a G six
Well, let me ask
fifty. I
you.
mean, it's kind of run down. The inside of it's kind of beat up. Don, I'm agreeing with you. It looked like crap in that
By the
Sean
way,
Hannity
the
interview.
beast, the car, the beast.
Yeah,
What happens if that was 40 years old? I
right,
mean, you're upgrading. It's no one has these, computers. But I have a question. Come July is the Heritage Golf Tournament where it has all the celebrities. I want to know when you go to the golf course, the caddy always says to you, they might say, "Cuddy, are you driving or are you the passenger?" And they put your bag depending if you're the driver or
right.
the passenger. Is John Elway from now on at all these golf chat? Did the caddy just put him on as the passenger? Did they let him drive the golf cart anymore?
That's a great question. Maybe the caddy master gives him a breathalyzer test first. Says, John, have you had a couple pops? I
I
mean,
mean,
that went silent. Is he going in 60 seconds?
no, he's not because
What
But
happened
I'll tell
there?
you one thing. I don't think he's driving the golf cart
No,
anymore.
he's done.
I
I don't
mean,
think he's going to the golf course anymore.
would you be a little nervous if all of a sudden you're the first passenger in his golf
I
cart?
mean, if he has a good publicist, they tell him to go to an island and hide for a year. I
You
mean,
might need a seatbelt.
yeah, his best friend died. Yeah, there's problems with that whole
He
deal.
pulled out a little fast. I mean,
Yeah,
when was the last time you just fell out of a golf cart?
I have. I
Yep.
have, and I flipped over golf carts. Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to do. I mean,
Well, this was
you
just pulling
remember
out.
my house in Philly? I had
Yeah.
that golf thing in the
Yeah.
back, and it was kind of hilly, and you were flying over. Yeah, you
I
flip
don't.
over.
I think this was like soon as he only
Yeah,
got
I know. I think
a
he's got
little
some.
seatbelt. But I mean, that's crazy. I mean, this is John Elway. He plays a lot. He plays a lot of golf. It must
Right.
be. I mean, you think he gave up golf?
I think number one, if this guy truly was his best friend, he's devastated. So he's like in a state of depression, mourning. This guy died on his watch. He's dealing with his widow and his kid. The woman, the wife, and the kids. I mean, it's a total tragedy. Whatever happened, if it happened, if under this set of circumstances, if I was the cause of that, I don't know. I'd stick my head in the sand for a year and go away. I wouldn't want.
Hey,
You don't want to see people. You don't want to like talk to people. It's like bad. It's a bad deal.
I think he's going to be on the golf course coming up. I mean, what else is he going to do?
We'll see. Maybe he'll be in a courtroom somewhere. There's lawsuits. Like you guarantee there's lawsuits,
It
don't you
would be
think?
kind of something to know if he's now the passenger, though.
He's going to be the passenger. I think there's going to be some
Does the
lawsuits.
cart girl just go right past him, or does she even bother stopping?
Right, that's funny. Yeah, what happens? The court girl shows up and she's got,
John Elway.
all her vodka and tequila, whatever. Does she say to John, you want to, tequila on the
Do you want a
rocks?
John Daly? Do you want a John
You want
Daly?
a John Daly?
Stick to
So
the Arnold Palmer.
Gavi, so what happens when Donald Trump comes back from his long-winded trip? I mean, so he's tariffed the world. We're done with that drama. He settled the Indian-Pakistan nuclear
Oh, I
war.
forgot about that. You act
Yeah,
like that's a small little thing.
yeah. They both are nuclear powers. He settled that. He's meeting, Putin or whatever, Ukraine and Putin.
Close the border.
Then he's dealing with Iran, telling them, they're not going to get their nuclear weapons. And then he's meeting all these business leaders. He's hanging out with Elon.
Stopping fentanyl from coming in from China.
He's closed the border. He's buying a new Air Force One, a cutter jet. I mean, what's left?
Fixing the FAA.
Fixing the FAA.
I mean, like, and by the way, 125 days. Yet the other side who
He
doesn't
does look
like him.
tired, though.
But the thing that's crazy is everybody that's looking at him, like that don't like him, they still think he's doing a horrible job. They still
It's
would
hard
have
to
rather have
imagine.
had Joe Biden, Kamala Harris being president. And how fun! Oh, by the way, we left off one other thing. There is a chance that prescription drugs could be 30 to 80% less. Did you hear when he said the guy took the fat shot?
Yeah.
I mean, like, he doesn't
You know who
even.
that was, don't you?
Was it the grocer?
Yeah.
I figured that was that
Yeah,
Casta.
John
Yeah,
Castellanos,
that's
yeah,
that's what I thought it
yeah.
was. But in the meantime,
But he
that
says about his friend, but he is obesely fat. I
yeah.
mean, he just, like, comes out with that. I
By
mean,
the way, I
you
think
might
that.
say he's a little slightly overweight. He says, "Oh, no, he's obesely
But
fat."
but Trump looks a little tired right now for, like, the guy's 77 years old.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
mean,
unbelievable.
I mean, I think he's going to pull this off with the prescription drugs. I mean, that would be incredible. That the new price will be whatever
Never
whatever.
happen.
I think it happens.
It's just never gonna happen.
I think it will happen.
Look, yeah, these drug companies have to spend billions and billions and billions of dollars to develop these drugs. They have to make money. They have to have these unbelievable. How many drugs do you think they make that don't get
Why
passed?
should Australia have a cheaper drug than us or
I
Canada?
can't explain that. I'm not that
Why is
smart.
it? The people that have asthma, those little when you the inhalers. Why is the United States $60 for an inhaler where it's $10 in Canada?
Well, a lot of it has to do with these drugs that they don't want to cure things. Like, do you think they could cure herpes or diabetes? They don't want to. They want continuing drug
But the
sales.
other
They don't
nations,
want to cure it. They want to give you this pill
we
forever.
we've been a doormat. Other countries are getting it for less, and they're making it up on the United States. Those deals are over. This guy is a different guy in the White House right now. I mean,
Right.
he's a different guy.
Right.
I
Well, we'll see
mean,
what happens. I mean, the issue is it's like a 2-year deal. The Congress and the Senate flips in 2 years. I mean, so he has 2 years
well, let me ask you:
not,
when
to
the
do all
rates
this
go
stuff.
down and the mortgage
It's
rates
going
go
to be
down and
unbelievable.
interest rates go down, and there's no tax on tips, and
Yeah.
by the way, if you bought an American car, there's no interest on your car payment. And people are this Christmas, if things are going great, how do you vote this guy out? And then, if you were going to vote him out and you were going to vote some other people in, who are you putting in? And why would you want anything
I
to
understand,
change?
but anything in life can happen. You could pull out of this parking lot and get hit in the side and die. I mean, he could have a heart attack, a stroke, somebody could
By the way,
shoot. Whatever could
do you
happen
hear
to
the
the
price
guy.
of eggs right now? How come
Is
eggs?
JD Vance going to be able to do what Donald Trump's doing, or is
Well,
Marco Rubio going to be able to
if
do
you
what
hand it
Donald
off
Trump?
to him in the right way, you don't even mention eggs anymore. I mean that's they threw that in his lap.
Right. Yeah. All that stuff is done. I mean, prices are coming down. Gas is cheaper. Cars, my God. The car lots are so loaded. It's so staggering. The price. I just saw an ad last night on TV. You can get an F-150 truck. I don't even know what one of them cost anymore. It's been a long time since I bought one. But they're giving $14,000 off on an F-150 truck.
Yeah,
$14,000 off.
right.
How much is the truck? 60 grand? What is that? 20%? 25%? It's a staggering number. Gavi, we used all our time
Yeah, I
up.
mean,
The
we didn't
show
even
ended.
talk about like the Ivy Leagues that are like they're like getting
Yeah,
decimated.
right. And he's taking their money. Well, that's another thing he's doing. He's taking Harvard's money away.
Right, that they were getting, and he like brought awareness to everybody that why are these Ivy League schools getting all this money, taxpayer money? But all I can say is one thing: I was right on the New York Knicks.
You've been right,
I've
Gavi.
been right on Donald Trump that was going to
You've been
break
right.
everything. I mean, it's
I've
like
been wrong on
right
almost
on
everything.
Tesla.
The only thing I've been right on, folks, is Jim Cramer's a fraud.
He is a fraud.
I mean, he was ranting and raving and carrying on, scaring the living shit out of every school teacher and everybody that had money in the stock market. I think it's a misuse of his power on CNBC. As that stock market was plummeting, he wasn't doing what Gavi was saying, was don't sell anything, stay calm, America's great, it will come back. He was screaming at the top of his lungs, it's over. This tariff thing is going to ruin everything. Walmart,
You know, who's,
Costco.
you know who's happy that all this stuff's going on right now?
Who?
Prince Harry, because this guy is like a joke. That even this guy was so well liked in England, and
He blows her out.
and to think,
He blows that Meghan Markle
I mean,
out.
this country, his own country, hates him. Now.
I think they blow her out. I mean, they have to. I mean,
Just
it's
take
a
the
drag.
title
He's
away.
got a couple kids. No, they got to get rid of her. I mean, I think she gets blown out. Anyway, Gavi, we did miss, folks, we did miss last week's show because Gavi was up north. Our reels were like 400,000 views on our 9 reels or our 12 reels that were cut up. I mean, it's insane the views that we're
You
getting.
know what I'm going to do?
What?
If people would hit this subscribe button, doesn't cost anything.
Bang, hit it.
Yeah, hit the thing. I think I'm going to get an autograph from the New York Knicks. I'm going to pick a player. Let it be Jalen Brunson. Let it be Bridges. Let it be Josh Hart. Let it be OG Anunoby. And I'm going to get like a signed hat, and I'm just going to give it to one of our
So, do you
callers.
think maybe like the next 50, every 50 subscriptions, we could get a signed hat and give it away?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get
Let's
something to
do
give
that.
away.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
The next 50, and when they subscribe, they can put their name in the
We'll
comments.
pull one out. We'll give him a little.
And we'll get
vote.
it. You know, Gavi's best friends run the New York Knicks. He
And,
does have
and by the
connections
way,
there.
the Pope is cheering for the New York
Can
Knicks.
we get a Pope, some from the Pope to give out?
No, can't do that. I mean, could you
He's from
imagine?
Villanova, our hometown.
You know what's funny, but now that you've met Donald Trump before, the only next thing, wouldn't you like to have a picture with the Pope?
Boy,
Trump?
I would love that.
What?
That'd be unbelievable. Yeah, and we forgot that before this Abu Dhabi trip, Trump was at Rome for the old Pope's funeral. I
Right.
mean, he came home from Rome, he landed, he played golf, he went
And he
in,
doesn't need 3 weeks vacation
he
afterwards.
signed a couple things, and then he took off to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
All right, folks,
We'll
have
see
a
you
great
next week.
week.
See ya.